Nigerian Labour Congress, Ondo State Council, alongside its affiliate unions, have formally written to Governor Lucky Aiyedatiwa demanding a review of the minimum wage to 256,000 naira 950 now from the current 73,000 naira that was already earned by them. Now the state NLC, in a letter signed by its chairman Ademola Olapade and secretary Akin Sunday, described the existing wage as grossly inadequate aimed at economic hardship. Now, the union also called for a corresponding upward review of pensions from retirees. Now, while commending Governor Aiyedatiwa for prompt payment of salaries and pensions, as well as regular staff promotions, the NLC stressed that the rising cost of food, transportation, housing, and healthcare have left workers and pensioners in what is called perpetual economic suffocation. Now, this is the conversation we're having. We all know what Ondo State is, and you know, Ondo State, when we talk about Ondo, we talk about cocoa. And we are hearing the amount. Okay, so it was 73,000 naira, and now they're saying they want it to go to 256,000 naira 950. I don't know why the 950 is added as Jara. I think that is the Jara. But we're looking at Ondo, the workers are saying this. Etoma, we're not going to lie. There's a lot of economic hardship now. When we talk about food, we talk about, you know, transportation. We cannot compare the way it used to be in 2019 to the way it is now. But then again, you look at it, these amounts that they are calling, it's quite a lot. I'm actually looking at the sustainability. But let me come to you, Etoma. What do you make of this? Two things I'd like to point out. The economic realities makes the 73,000 truly inadequate. It can't do anything. Somebody said that in Nigeria, people's take-home pay doesn't really take them home because, I mean, transportation alone will swallow the whole salary. What about the things you have to do, your responsibilities at home, children's school fees, house rent, feeding, and so on? You know, that's one side of it. And then the other side is 256,950 for Ondo State. In fact, I'll look at it from 3 points. It's a little bit high, but you see, when you are negotiating for anything, you don't hit the actual figure you are looking for. You go higher than the actual figures to make room for bargaining, because definitely there will be bargaining that will go on. I guess that's why they put the figure there, and the 950 actually made me laugh. When I saw, no, that really got me. I'm like, is that the Jara on top? But let me come to you, Wilfred. You know, we cannot lie. When we talk about minimum wage, 73,000 naira right now, it cannot really do a lot. Let's be honest. For you to do transportation, for you to cook and eat, for you to take care of yourself and all of that, is quite little. But now we're looking at what they're asking for. From what they had before to what they're asking for is quite a huge gap. And people will argue that on those states, are they really performing like that for them to ask for such a gruesome amount of money? But then again, I'm not speaking in the way that I do not get their pain and their plight as well. But I just want to get what you quickly make of this. Okay, so now I'm literally with Etoma on that, because I mean, consider the fact that when you actually want to negotiate, you actually start hard. Because by the time you negotiate, you're going to land somewhere. So when I was in law school, something they told us is that the judge and the court is not Santa Claus. So if you do not ask for what you want and literally exaggerate it, by the time the court is settling, they'll definitely probably go below what you actually need. So I think it's actually interesting and necessary that they actually start at that point, because you have actually said it, 73,000 naira, to be very honest, is not necessarily, you can't do anything. Very recently, I actually had that conversation with someone, literally just calculating transportation for getting to a certain location within Lagos, right, 3 days a week, and was literally almost over 80,000 naira just in transportation. Now we're talking about feeding, we're talking about housing, we're talking about rent, and all those other things. Do you understand? So beyond even meeting like basic and I mean necessities, right? Now you think about the human being that wants to evolve, right? Talk about the fact that, okay, fine, you want to one day own a house, you want to put some savings aside, you want to think about pension, right? Things like this are things that we need to factor in when thinking about when someone's actually earning money. You don't want to be eating, like living and eating. And Griffin, I'll tell you something. That's what a lot of Nigerians are doing, if I'm correct. And I think I'm correct on this, if I do say so myself. They're living from hand to mouth. Because at the end of the day, your salary, what do you want to save out of your salary? And we're speaking about pensioners as well. On this table, a lot of times we're speaking about the fact that they've come out and they're crying. A lot of them have even taken the issue to God. Like, God, please help us, because at this point, issue to God actually is an issue. We do not know where to stand from again. My happiness about the whole thing is that this wahala, so to say, is going to the right source. That's the governors, you know. If we were running a true federal state, you know, where the states are the ones that are subventing the center, we wouldn't have had anybody making noise or pressuring the federal government to increase rents. It's would have been the governors. And let us also remember that the governor's subvention now is about triple. All of them are taking more than 3 times what they are supposed, what they're used to taking. So there's more money there. And for staff like local government staff, there are staff categories that are purely the forte of state governments. Those ones should be taken care of by the governments. When you want to look at it, every state in Nigeria is productive.
Yeah.
But because of going to the center for subvention, we are taking a lackluster attitude towards building up businesses and making money as a state.
You know, Mufa, I'll say something that I do not have a problem with you even saying, pay me 500,000 naira, because these people do a whole lot. You know, when you see workers every morning, there's a saying that you cannot be richer than your employee. But these workers are still up every morning, you know, just making sure they put food on their table. But at the end of the day, I'm looking at if this passes through. So we're saying that they bid it high because they know that they're going to cut it. But if it passes through, now we talk about sustainability. Would they be able to sustain it? Is it unfair to private workers as well? You know, if you know that government staffs are taking this.
So now I'll say this, right?
Yeah.
So having the sum at a certain point, to be very honest, I'll say it outrightly, I don't think 295,000 naira is actually too much. I would say that, right? Then also, because it's also important to know that these people are workers that wake up every morning to come to work to do their jobs, right? And then if you actually don't meet their demands, not, I mean, unreasonable demands, now reasonable demands, when you're asking about, I mean, we need money to live on, right? Now think about what will happen when they actually have to now go and make that money. One, they're not going to be focused on their job. They're going to be thinking of how they can actually make money aside the money they make at the end of every month. And that's actually problematic as well, because it might actually affect the system.
It will definitely affect.
Do you understand? Because the jobs they're meant to be doing now, based on the fact that they're being paid, they're probably looking for ways to cut corners and get monies here and there. So that's actually very...
And you know, they say if your side gig is now more than, you know, what you're doing, there's going to be a problem, because you will now focus more on your side gig. But for me, Etoma, you want to say something?
Yeah, even if the side gig is not making more, but it's taking more time.
Yeah, exactly.
It affects it. You know, we just have to go back to true federalism. And I want to commend the Tinubu administration, because he's systematically removing some of the things listed on the exclusive list and sending it down to the states. By the time it is fully done, the states will have more powers, but they also will have the responsibility of taking care of their own bills. You know, I want to see a situation where it gets to that, where the federating units are subventing the center.
All right, and I can just hope that our workers get what they truly deserve at the end of the day. I just want to leave it at 256,000 naira. Let's leave the Jara aside, you know. I hope they get what they truly deserve. But yes, we're going to go on a quick breather now. And when we come back, it will be time for the newspaper review.